heart that hurts. I want to spend my life mending broken people. I want to spend my life mending broken people.
Hello friends, and welcome to your program 3ABN Today Cooking. Today is a special hour that we're going to spend together. My name is Idalia Dinzey, and I have with me Stephanie Salazar, who's visiting us from Chile. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Idalia. It's very good to be here.
Thank you for being with us.
Yes, it's been a long time.
What are you doing in Chile?
Well, in Chile, I am with my husband. He's from there. We work at the Adventist University.
Wonderful.
And I'm actually teaching there healthy cooking to students in nutrition and the nursing careers, as well as juice therapy. So we've been working and doing this thing for a while now.
Yes, you love what you do.
For sure.
And that's why you're here.
That's right.
Amen.
After 10 or so years that I was last year. So it's wonderful to be here.
Amen. Well, friends, the cooking that we're going to present to you is all plant-based. So
right.
what is the special recipes that we're going to prepare for today? Because our friends at home are like, please tell me what you're going to prepare so I can start taking notes.
For sure. Well, we have an actual festive menu. It's like a special occasion menu with dishes that are going to be easy to prepare, with easy access to the ingredients, but at the same time very rich and beautiful, as well as delicious and healthy, and that can be used for special occasions.
Amen. Well, if you can watch this on your screen, look at this marvelous butter on your screen.
Yes, you know how we often, when we make special dishes, we often want to make them really creamy and rich. Well, I thought, why not make a butter that we can use in the next dishes? But it's a butter that's actually very, very healthy. So it's a good alternative.
To learn the recipe for it.
Yeah.
We're going to have a second recipe, and that is a wonderful, delicious cheesecake. Look at your screen.
Who doesn't love cheesecake, right?
Isn't that a beautiful vegan plant-based cheesecake for your
it's
special
baked.
occasion?
It's also a baked cheesecake, which makes it a little bit different.
Wow. And then?
Then we have a festive vegetable bake.
Look at all these
This
colors.
is a version of roasted vegetables for occasions, special occasions, like the holidays.
Yes.
And then we have a gluten roast. It's an actual nut and gluten roast.
Wonderful.
And then we'll finish off with a festive, colorful and pretty punch.
Yes. Cheers. We're going to celebrate, right?
Of course, that's the idea.
Celebrate. Well, the Lord is good to us all, and He has made provision for each and one of us. So I think, Stephanie, our friends already got their paper and their writing utensils.
Perfect.
But I just want to tell you that you can contact 3ABN or visit the 3ABN website for the recipes. Our first recipe is
the butter. So we will need for the butter the following ingredients: half a cup of soy milk, a quarter cup carrot juice. That we'll put in the blender and start blending up. And then we'll add 1 teaspoon of salt, half a cup of grapeseed oil, and 1.5 cups of coconut oil.
Very good. Now we're ready to do the steps. What do we do first?
All right. So we have a blender here. The idea is to have a very good blender, hopefully one that is of high speed, and also with a large vase.
Okay.
Because we want to put all the ingredients in not at once, but in the same blender cup to be able to get everything done. Now carrot juice. You say carrot juice for butter?
In the butter? What
know.
in the world? She's lost it, I thought. No.
No. The thing is that this will give it this beautiful yellowish natural color and a sweetness to it as well. So it's perfect for this recipe.
Yes, this is 100% carrot juice.
That's right.
Okay.
Then we'll have a plant-based milk. In this case, we're using soy milk.
Okay, so if I want to use almond milk, rice milk, whatever I have at hand.
You can, but try to avoid, of course, any kind of add-ons like vanilla flavor or anything like that. It has to be very plain, yes. The carrot is giving it this sweetness like we talked about.
Exactly.
So we put those two, in the blender, and we start blending it up just to get it a little bit more unified, you know?
Okay.
And then we'll add the oil. This one right here. I like to use grapeseed.
That's a grapeseed oil.
Yes.
Now, why do we use grapeseed oil? It's mild in taste, right?
That's right. It has barely any taste, which
This
is really
like
good.
emulsifying, right?
Yes, a little bit, but it won't get very thick. It's not like it's a mayonnaise or anything like that.
Okay.
It will just get a little bit more pale in color
I see.
as it blends. So that's the idea, to go slowly anyway,
Yes.
just for it to get the right color and texture as well. And just to get very, in the very good creamy type of texture.
That's
so we're
right.
gonna go like this, a little bit higher up in speed, as you can see right here. And then at the end, we're gonna be adding our coconut oil.
Okay.
And our salt first, sorry. Let's put the salt first. As you can see right here, we have some pink Himalayan salt,
Yes.
which is one of the healthier options these days. Easily available really pretty much everywhere. We put the salt. And then we'll add at the end our star ingredient, which is the coconut oil. We know how healthy it is. We know that it's even medicinal.
Yes.
So this is an amazing option to be able to use the coconut oil in an edible way, in a way that is raw, and that will help. We're gonna have to do this a little bit faster because it's kind of, and the coconut oil is very, very dense, as you can see. So I try not to dump it all in at once because it will clog up the blender. So little by little is better. Okay. And that way, we don't even still it's a little bit clogged. So we're gonna have to help it a little bit here. That's pretty much it, as you can see.
Yes.
Right here, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's very creamy.
Well, let's scoop it out
Oh,
so
okay,
that people
good.
can
Yeah.
see it. See that? That is beautiful.
It's,
Very
of course,
nice.
melted right now because
Yes.
it's just blended. It's not very thick yet. So we're going to do our little trick here, which is get a little mold. You can have a butter mold or any kind of mold like this one right here. It's like a little loaf baking mold, but it works for butter as well. Thank you so much, Idalia. Can you please pass me a pair of scissors? Would you mind?
Pair of scissors. Scissors too, huh?
Yes, I do use scissors for this reason. To make it easy to come out of the mold, I use the wax paper, that's right. And I just cut the corners right here, as you can see.
Yes.
Just to be able to put it in. You know how you sometimes buy butter in a paper type of container, or whatever you call it, packaging?
Right.
Well, the idea is to do the same thing here.
They do butter sticks. That's
Yes,
right.
exactly. So we're just gonna make a big butter stick right here. That's what we're doing.
That's right.
And then we just put it in like this. And we try to fix here the corners to make it nice and smooth as much as possible, as you can see. Yes. And then we pour in our mixture of the butter.
You better pour it in and I'll hold the paper
Thank you so much. We'll do it as a team. It's much better to have a helper.
It's so much fun to be in the kitchen together.
Yes, I so enjoy it. I have a 5-year-old son who absolutely loves to be with me in the kitchen, and he knows a lot of these recipes, exactly how to make them. He can't make them by himself quite yet.
Right.
But he sure knows how to make them.
He'll be ready in due time.
Oh, yes, that's the idea.
One morning he'll surprise you. Mom, I made all this by myself.
That's the plan. That's the plan. That's why I'm working hard, making sure that I prepare him for that.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
Yes.
So please encourage your children to spend some time in the kitchen with you, because these are lessons that they can take with them forever.
For sure. And that the thing also is that when they participate in the kitchen, when they're there with you, they love what they make.
That's right.
And so they're so eager and enthusiastic about eating this type of butter.
That's right.
So much so that he doesn't want to eat any others.
Right.
He likes mommy's butter. Well, right now it's mommy's, but later on it will be like our butter,
That's
so
right.
Now we put this in the refrigerator overnight for about 8 hours.
Okay.
And our finished product, as you can see right here,
we have
over
it right there in the corner.
can see it, right? Yes, it's right there.
Yes.
Does it not look like butter?
Yes, it does.
It looks just like
a
butter.
Stick of butter like you buy them in the store, but this is made by your very own hands.
That's right.
At home, and you know exactly what's in that recipe.
You saw the ingredients. You saw
That's
exactly
right.
what it has. It works just like any butter would work.
That's
so
right.
You'll see in the next
I
recipes.
think we're ready for the second recipe.
That's right.
Are you ready?
Of course, yes,
it's
I am.
the cheesecake. What do we need for the cheesecake recipe? This is what we need.
Yes. For the base, then, we need 350 grams or around 23 sweet crackers, like graham crackers or sweet cookies in this case, but preferably like graham crackers. Then we also need 4 tablespoons of melted butter or coconut oil. And then for the filling, we need 2 cups of raw cashews. They have to be soaked in boiling water for about 15 minutes and then drained. Make sure that they're drained. And also 1 cup of chickpeas that are also drained and rinsed. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, the zest of a lemon, 1 teaspoon of vanilla powder or 3 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 2/3 of a cup of maple syrup, 2 tablespoons of tahini, 1 can of coconut milk, and half a teaspoon of salt. That's what we need for this cheesecake. So we're going to start with our crust.
Yes.
Okay.
Our crust.
Here we have some crackers that are already a little bit broken up. It's ideal to have a machine like this, a
food processor.
That's right, to be able to get a very, very fine and thin like a powder from the crackers. Here we have some broken up, but here we can put some of these ones as well. Since this machine will break them all up, it's okay to get them a little more whole, right?
That's right.
I was trying to help it in the beginning with the ones that were broken already. So let's try to get these out of here. I don't think I can. Let me see if I can.
You want me to help you?
Here you go. There you go.
Because
they need a
I'll
little
work
push.
for the cheesecake. I mean, that cheesecake looks beautiful. It smells
Yes.
so good,
Oh,
too.
it's such a hit. You should see it. Yeah. As you can see right there, we have it already done. We have our butter that we just did, remember?
Yes.
We did have our butter here, and it's not melted because we took it out of the refrigerator, but it's okay. We're gonna put like this in the processor.
Look at it, how it cuts just like commercial butter.
That's right. That's the beauty of it. We're gonna put about this much to start with. It's not.
Half a stick or.
Yeah, I mean we have the measurement there, but right here we just eyeball it like you say it.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna try to get our little dough out of it now.
Okay.
We're gonna have to help it a little bit, I think.
Okay.
So we're gonna get a bowl. It's right over there.
It's right
and
here.
the idea is to get this mixture right here, like a wet, coarse sand. That's kind of the idea. And we have a little tool right here that will help us blend it all up. So we have a few pieces of cracker that can be helped out here with this little tool. Yes. And our butter is also, since it's not melted, it's easier when it's melted, but since we don't have it melted, it's okay. We can use it.
But you know what? It's supposed to be melted, right?
Or you know what? We can help it with our hand. Our hands are warm, and they will sure melt it quicker.
That's right.
Let's just go like this. This is what we do in the real kitchen, right? So
now, Stephanie,
yes.
When you mix this, you're just going to use the simple crust, right?
Simple.
This is the crust. That's it to it. Because you already have the crust already prepared for
I did prepare it ahead of time, just to make it simpler, but I wanted you to see the steps of how we make it. And also I wanted you to see how we can use the butter that we just made in a recipe like this.
Exactly.
You can use it for pastries like this, so it works so wonderfully.
You can use it for sweet recipes and savory recipes
That's
as
right,
well, right?
That's right. That's the beauty of it.
I'm going to go ahead and move this
Thank you so much,
front
Idalia.
of your bowl.
That would help.
So our friends can see.
This is another step that is important. I'm going to show you what I do.
Okay.
And it is...
I think you're going to have to go wash your hands.
Maybe I do. I think I do, even though I don't know if it's a truly necessary. We're going to get this paper. It's a little bit of wax paper. And what I do is I take a pair of scissors and I cut 3 strips. Do you mind doing that for me, Idalia, so that I can wash my hands really quick?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, 3 strips. You're not going to measure if I did them all evenly, are you?
Not at all, no.
I'm terrible cutting straight, but all right. The teacher said we need 3 strips, and
yes.
Sorry, some are whiter than the other, but
that's perfect. That's fine. What I actually did in this one, as you can see, after that we were put in, I just cut them around to make it look prettier.
Now this is a spring foam pan.
Yes, it's ideal for this recipe.
So that way, this is the spring foam. That is why it's called spring foam. And it's usually used for making cheesecakes because it's easier to remove.
Yeah,
now,
for it to look pretty when it's done.
All right, so the next steps with these strips,
we
can
put
swap
them,
sides.
thank you, Dalia, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We put them around like this.
So it won't stick.
So that it won't stick and that it will be easy to take out.
Exactly.
That's the idea. So we put them first like that. And then we put our dough that we have over there, that as you can see looks
let's
like...
pretend it's already done.
Yes, we do it like this. It looks like it's dry, but it's not. It's perfect because when you press it down with your fist like this, or another, it could be a cup or something, but when you press it down, then it will be even and it won't be so crumbly.
It'll be uniform.
Exactly.
That's right.
But the idea is that it's not so crumbly or not so dry or so wet. It's kind of like to be in between.
Okay.
That's the idea.
Very
then you
good.
put it in the refrigerator for just a little bit, and then you have that finished product right there, as you can see.
Yes.
So
This is the crust.
did you think that was hard? No, right?
No, not hard at all.
Very
and I'm sure your
simple.
5-year-old son can enjoy doing this recipe.
Right.
Kids like to get their fingers in the food, right? Okay,
Yes.
let me take this from you.
Thank you.
So the next step.
Now we're going to do the filling for our cheesecake, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna have to,
Excuse me.
do you mind helping me? Let me take this away right here.
All right.
And also I need to wash my hands again for a second.
Okay.
We can start putting the cashews, and you can explain what we did with them as
Most
I go do
certainly.
this really quick, okay?
Yes. The cashew is a very good friend in the plant-based kitchen. The cashews, you can use it for savory recipes, and in this case, we're going to use it for a dessert, sweet recipe. Now, what you must do is wash and rinse them, soak them in boiling hot water, like the instructions at the beginning of the program we mentioned to you. When you soak them, it makes them creamier, right?
Yes, easier to blend. They
Easier
will
to
be
blend.
much, much smoother to blend and quicker. So it's a great idea to first soak them. And that way we can just help a little bit the blender, and you will get a much creamier texture to your cheesecake, and that's what you want.
Yes.
You want a very creamy, rich
Creamy and-
cheesecake.
yes,
So
yes.
that's what we're doing. Our first ingredient is the cashews.
All right.
Now we have another ingredient that will help this smooth process, or this smooth, the idea of getting a smooth cheesecake, and it's coconut milk. It's a very thick and rich coconut milk. It's a whole. So try not to get the light, but rather like the whole coconut milk.
Oh, that's right.
And you'll see that it's very thick. It's more thick than the other one. It's not
Yes.
light. But then we put something that makes it quite unique, and it's actual.
Let's put it towards this
Yes.
way. The young people are going to say, what are you putting in that cheesecake?
Like, don't ruin it, they're gonna say. No, we're gonna help it, okay?
They're not going to even taste the garbanzos.
Oh, not at all. I mean, they are gonna love this cheesecake so much, but it's better to tell them until after they eat it or try it.
Oh, okay.
But what
I
do-
didn't say anything.
Yeah. But the garbanzos,
Yes.
due to the texture, is that it makes it like what the eggs would do.
Exactly.
It
It's
makes
an
it
egg
spongy.
replacer.
Exactly. It makes it more spongy. It just adds this special and very effective texture to the cheesecake. So those are our main ingredients. And then we add the other important ingredients, which is, of course, the sweetness. You're going to want to have something sweet.
Oh, yes.
And the best tasting sweetener for this cheesecake is maple syrup.
Why?
Because it will give it that mapley flavor. It's
Okay.
light. It's also
Natural.
Of course, natural. It just makes it give this a very unique flavor, and I like that better. Of course, you can use any other kind of sweetener. You can use honey or
Agave nectar?
yes, of course you could.
Okay.
It's whatever you have really.
Okay.
Then you have to put in some cornstarch.
Okay.
Right, that we mentioned right there.
Yes.
And we have the juice of a lemon. I hope it's a juicy lemon.
Yes.
Because you do need, a good amount of it.
And this is lemon zest?
And the zest. Yes, the zest also makes it very, very delicious.
Yes.
We also put a little bit of apple cider vinegar. It will help it give that little kick, that acidic kick to the
Yes.
cheesecake that usually a cheesecake has. Then we have the vanilla. The vanilla also is
You can
so
use
beautiful.
powder form or you can use extract, pure vanilla extract.
And then we have a little ingredient, which is also the tahini.
Yes, tahini. What a great combination. I
Yeah.
love the chickpeas or garbanzo beans and the tahini combination is really good.
It helps with the flavor. It just
Yes.
helps a lot with the flavor.
Don't put too much of it, otherwise, right?
No,
It's
not
just
much.
a little
It's just
bit.
a little underlying taste
Yes.
to it. And then a bit of salt, just a little to bring out the other flavors. flavors.
Yes. Well, make sure that you put a lid in your blender.
Yes. And you might need a little help. In this case, we have this stick. Let's start with a low speed.
Yes.
And then we go up.
Gradually go.
You gotta make sure it's very smooth.
That's right.
You don't want to find any pieces there, any crunchiness there, especially no garbanzos, please. So
exactly.
Make sure that it's very, very smooth, as you can see right here. Let's try to help it out a little bit with clearing this out. I think it's pretty good, smooth, as you can see.
Oh, yes, it is.
You see? And so now it's ready to be put on to the crust. And then ready to go on in
Once
the
we
oven.
put it in the crust, how long do we bake it for?
We bake it for about 50 minutes.
Okay.
You have to make sure that you watch it so that you don't overcook it as far as like getting like a burn type of idea. But you have to get a little bit golden. And you will see that it will just look like it sort of raises a little bit when it's in the oven cooking. But about 50 minutes to an hour, that's all. Do you see how smooth and creamy it is?
Yes, yes.
It's just beautiful.
You know, I wouldn't mind cleaning the bowl. No. You know, the kids like to say, Mom, can I please eat what's left on the bowl?
The spatula,
But it's not good
please.
because it's, you know, usually the families have eggs in the mixture and that's not good. But with this plant-based, it's 100% safe for them.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. This is a safe way to, get the kids involved as well.
Yes, so we're gonna bake this at
350 degrees in the oven for about an hour, 50 minutes to an hour.
And call me when it's done. I'll be right
But
over. No, I'm
make
just kidding.
sure, oh yeah, we're right there. We're gonna, make sure, try to smooth it out a little bit like this so that it's even.
You can probably slap the pan to get the air pockets out as well.
Yes.
So
there you go.
But you have a final product right here on our counter with us. Look how beautiful that is.
Right there. Right?
So she found some cherries, and how did you prepare those cherries?
Well, we just got some rosemary springs, fresh ones, and some cherries. When it's like Christmas time, you can use some fresh cranberries.
That's
those
right.
work beautifully. And we got these beautiful cherries as well. What you do is that you dip them in a little bit of sugar water that is hot. You just dip it one time, and then you coat it with regular sugar, powdered sugar. That will be it. And it just makes a beautiful garnish for like a Christmassy type of dessert. So it's all fresh, and you can even eat those springs, probably tasty.
Most certainly.
Yeah.
Well, Stephanie, we are having a wonderful time in the kitchen with you, but I think we're ready for the next recipe.
We are. Yes,
you?
we are.
Well, our next recipe is
the festive roasted vegetables.
So you will need 2 sweet potatoes, 2 cups Brussels sprouts, 2 tablespoons maple syrup, 1/4 cup olive oil or butter, 1/2 cup of dried cranberries, 1/2 cup of pecans, and sea salt. So the sea salt is to taste.
Of course, to give it some flavor, of course. So these are the beautiful vegetables we have here.
Yes,
we have already done a first step, which is that we blanched them.
Okay.
Just so that we could get the initial cooking process going, and that way the roasting process will be shorter. That's why we did that first. But we just got a beautiful bright green color here. We didn't want to cook it too much or anything like that.
Sprouts.
Yes, we don't want to, damage the beauty of them by overcooking them and getting them brown.
Yes.
So just like one boiling, and then that was it. We just put them in cold water at the end.
For someone that's never blanched the vegetable, how long do you leave it in the boiling water?
The Brussels sprouts about 1 minute.
1 minute. So you clean and rinse, wash the Brussels sprouts.
That's right.
Dump them in the boiling water.
That's right.
For just 1 minute, and then you scoop them right out.
Yes, and rinse them with cold water to stop the cooking process.
That's right.
We did the same with the sweet potatoes, but they were cooked a little bit longer, just to get them a little bit soft.
Right.
And that was basically the first step. But if you have time and you want to put them in the oven directly, it's fine as well. It will just take longer to bake.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Well,
first that we're going to do actually is to caramelize our pecans. Just to give a little crunchy, sweet taste to them. This is a festive dish, so we want to have a little treat in it. We're going to put them in a little pan right here, as you can see, with just a little bit of maple syrup. It could also be honey or maybe some brown sugar you could use to be able to caramelize them.
I'm going to swap sides.
Oh, thank you, Dalia. Yes, should have that'd be better. And you know what? You can start mixing the vegetables in there.
Oh,
all
sure.
you do is, except for this right here, we mix everything in, and you put the salt to taste. So what I start doing is putting one of each, little by little, you know, just to get them like a proper mixed up. Yes.
Okay.
So we don't want to smash the sweet potato, so let's try to be light about it. You know how it is.
A little bit at a time of each one of them.
Yeah, that's what I usually do, just to try to keep them nice and pretty. You know, be gentle with them.
Yes.
And but this is it. It's so simple. The long process is the peeling and the cutting.
And
that's really what would take some time.
That's true.
The cleaning.
That is true.
But then putting it together, recipe together, it's a piece of cake. Very, very simple, very easy.
This way you don't have to stir it as much, and you don't bruise especially the sweet potatoes.
Yes, those were a little bit overcooked maybe. You know, if they were a little less cooked, probably they would have been better. But it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you don't overcook the Brussels sprouts. Those are important to keep nicely
they do turn
bright.
Brown.
Yeah,
they don't look as appealing.
Yeah.
And we eat with our eyes, right, Stephanie?
Yeah, and also they taste much nicer when they're not overcooked.
Yeah.
So this is it. All you do is just a couple, I don't even know if that was a minute, but let's say a minute of roasting the pecans with the maple syrup. That's it. You get it nicely caramelized.
Now I finished with these ingredients.
Yes.
And now what?
Let's put the craisins as well. And now let's season it with some salt.
Okay.
And a little bit of maple syrup, a drizzle, right? That's right there. And then a little bit of oil, just so that we can get them in the oven and they start actually roasting, and we can get a crispiness to the vegetables once they're nicely browned.
All right.
And so that's it. It's very simple.
It's so pretty, though.
Of course, you can, add on any kind of maybe herb or a special seasoning you may enjoy at home. You can use your imagination or creativity or preferences to make this dish your own. So that's another idea.
So now that I have the vegetables all together, the maple syrup is in there.
Good.
The
oil.
Salt, the oil.
Good.
Do I need to put oil in the pan?
Not at all. There's no need. There's no need because it has enough oil already. Let's also put the pecans in there.
Oh, put them now?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay.
Part of them at least. And then we put a little bit at the end. Okay?
All righty.
So let's give it a nice mixture very gently if you can.
Or can I have a spatula, please?
Sure.
I think that red spatula would be best.
Good,
That way we don't lose it too
or
much.
you can start putting them in the pan, and that way they will get nicely mixed. But it's just as simple as that.
Well, I think it looks really good just like it is right now.
Yeah, the craisins also give it the nice festivity touch.
We will then turn it over
Dump them over on a nice baking dish. We have these beautiful ones here that, even add the touch of color to make it even more colorful than what the vegetables already are.
Wow.
And
so what do I do now?
That's it. Then we put it in the oven to maybe 400 degrees.
400?
Just very quickly, just for them to get roasted. Well,
okay.
or you can cook them a little bit longer for about 350, right?
Okay.
Until they're a little more cooked, as much as you
Golden.
want, but golden on top. That's the idea. I put them at 400 just because I wanted to get a brown gold color on top for them to look roasted.
Muy bien. So we have, right here, we have the finished product that you baked already. It looks beautiful. And the Brussels sprouts kept their natural green color.
That's the idea.
Which looks very nice and crisp. And the touch that the sweet potatoes give to it and the cranberries, oh my, it is beautiful. God is good. And this is all plant-based. We didn't need any milk. We didn't need any eggs.
That's right.
No bacon
Very
fat.
little oil also, so it's not very heavy. And it's just wonderful. With the pecans, the little sweetness, the crunchiness, it's just very nice to go as a side dish to your other fancy dishes in a special meal.
Wonderful. Well, I think we're ready for the next recipe. What do you think, Stephanie?
We are.
All
we're going to be making a gluten and nut roast.
So we're going to need 1 cup of onion chopped, 2 cloves of garlic crushed or minced, half a cup of ground walnuts, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of cold water, 1/4 cup olive oil, 1 cup gluten flour, 2 teaspoons of paprika powder, 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, half a teaspoon of cumin powder, and lastly, 1/4 cup of yeast flakes.
Yes, those are the ingredients that we need for this very, very delicious recipe. It's truly a hit at home.
Awesome in the kitchen.
It's a hit at my home. And when I prepared it for special occasions, like in other places or potluck at church or something, it goes by so fast. So it's truly one of the favorites at home. And that's why I wanted to come and share with you guys here. And so first we're gonna chop the onion.
Yes.
So we have it right here. And
you're gonna make me cry, Stephanie.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Let's hope not. Put a little water in your tongue, and that should help. So we try to chop it pretty small.
Yes.
The idea is to give flavor to the dish, rather than texture or anything like that. It's just flavor. So let's just put it very, very small, as much as we can. We're gonna chop it really, really tiny. Yes, what you were saying? Sorry, Idalia?
No, I just wanted to ask if I don't have fresh onions. You know, the other day I started cooking and I didn't have a single onion in the house, but I had onion powder.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know, can I use the onion
Completely
powder?
possible. In fact, the great thing about this particular dish is that you can give it your own spin as far as the seasonings are concerned.
All right.
Yeah, you can even omit the onion and put something else that you may like better.
That's right.
Or if you have kids that just cannot stand to see any little pieces of onion, then for sure use the powder.
Well, I'll throw it in the blender. They won't see it that way.
Yes. Even though I have done that before for this recipe, put it in the blender, and it doesn't really work very well because it makes it
don't
too
do that, guys.
smooth. Yes, it's best not to blend it.
Hey, I'm glad I said that.
Yeah, you do a little texture when as far as the other ingredients. But when you put the liquefied like onion, it makes it too runny or something. I did try that before.
All right.
Yeah, so either you use the powder or you use the onion.
Yes.
Like this, chopped.
Now, we're using the white onions, right?
Yeah.
But is there, should we stick to the white onion or should we do the purple onion?
Well, I wouldn't put purple just because I don't think that aesthetically would be nice.
Okay.
I think it would look kind of awkward. But maybe if somebody that has no problem with how it looks, then you could use the red one if you have nothing else.
Okay.
But if you can see the finished product, you know, the onion is, you can see just, it is a very, very little. Whereas with the purple, you could maybe change the color. So we're going to use half the onion like this. It's more than enough. Yeah.
You did a good job.
Yeah, well, thank you. We're going to put it in a bowl right here.
All right.
And we're going to add to the onion. Now, it's very important to follow the steps in the right order, okay? Because I'll explain it as I go. But here we put the garlic, okay? So we're going to put the garlic and the onion. Then we put the olive oil.
Okay.
And then we put the ground walnuts. These add such an amazing flavor. You know, the nuttiness, it just makes it perfect for the loaf that it is.
Yes.
And then to this, you add the 1 cup of water.
That's a 1 cup of cold water.
Cold water, yes. Very important that it's cold because this way it will help mix better.
Okay.
And then the yeast flakes.
Yes.
So we have this first mixture right here of these ingredients. Now, this is what I was explaining, that it's important to do this first.
Yes.
And then mix it very well like this. You can even add the salt to here so that it can mix evenly.
Yes.
Yeah. And then at the end, you add the gluten flour.
Okay.
Because if you add it before, it's not going to mix well because it tends to clump up.
Okay.
So as it clumps up, it might not be absorb the flavors.
Exactly.
So it's important to add it at the end so that it can be completely evenly mixed.
Right.
As it clumps up so much. So you see, it becomes like a runny dough, like a wet dough. As you can see.
Yeah.
Now we need to have the water in the stove hot.
Okay.
So you could please turn it on for me as I finish this up.
Sure.
This is the dough that we have right here.
Right. So the gluten flour has no taste. So when you're adding anything to a flour, really, you should mix in, especially the salt, because it dissolves in the liquids.
In the liquids, exactly.
And the seasons, that's what I have discovered, that when I put the seasoning in the liquid and dissolve it a little bit, and then add the flours or the gluten flour in this recipe, then the flavor seems to be better,
Yes.
better dispersed in the whole piece of the gluten roast.
Yes, I agree completely.
Okay.
That is such a good tip to use at home when cooking. Dissolving
Let me move these out of the
the
way.
powders into the liquids. So we have this mixture and we put it straight into a pan. It does
Okay.
not have to be oiled because this
You
is
already
already
have
enough
oil.
oil. Yes. So we just put it straight into a pan. All right, and as you can see, it's like a bread dough. And now that it absorbed most of the liquid, the gluten, then it's like a bread dough. And you see with the onion like that,
Yes.
it's not a runny,
Right.
dough, but it's just perfect. So we just expand it like this, right?
Yes.
And then we do the next step, which is in our hot water right here at the stove,
Okay.
we put the seasonings.
Okay.
Which you can choose. You can choose to do whatever flavors you like. You can use, the cumin we're using here, but you can use another thing that you may like. You can use thyme. Yes, that's exactly. Or sage. Sage is a wonderful.
Sage and thyme. Yes.
Exactly. So whatever you prefer or choose, you can put in this broth, sort of broth we're making.
So we're making a broth.
Yes, exactly. It's like a broth with a lot of flavor and aroma, and it just has to be a wonderful taste. Make it as delicious, special, as preferable as you want. That's basically the idea.
Okay.
So, but it has to be hot. And then this mixture, we pour it on top.
Okay.
Although it might seem a little bit strange, this is exactly how it has to be cooked. We
Well,
put it on
it
top.
is strange. I've never seen
This is
gluten
exactly how it
being
has to
cooked
go
like
in
this.
the oven.
Wow. What
This-
inspired this recipe?
Well, what inspired the fact that for special occasions, in South America, in Chile,
Yes.
there aren't any options you can go and buy. It's not like I can say, oh, I'm gonna get it to turkey roast.
Right,
Or
right.
it's impossible.
Right.
So what could you make that would replace these great roasted proteiny entrees?
Right.
And so this is one that it came in as a lifesaver.
It
And
is.
everybody loves it.
Well,
So
it
when we
smells
put it in the oven, once it goes into the oven, it starts cooking, and the actual gluten starts growing, expanding, absorbing all the liquid, and getting baked.
Wow.
And so in the finished product, you can see how it turns out.
Right.
The liquid actually almost dries completely.
Okay.
And if you have a little bit left, it's like a little gravy.
Okay.
But the idea is that you can get it as brown as you want on top.
Okay.
But an hour in the oven at 350 is what you need to get the finished product, where it needs to be.
Very good. So right here we have the final product, and you
Yes.
garnished it with baby potatoes, red potatoes.
Yes, you can put carrots if you want it, or anything pretty to go around it.
Looks very nice.
The one thing that I did forget, I'm so sorry, are the bay leaves. This is another great touch of flavor that is nice to
that's
put.
right.
You just put it on
Yes.
top, and at the end, you just take them out when they're cooked.
Right.
But the flavor that will go into the broth with the bay leaves really complements it nicely. But like I said, it's interesting because you will start seeing how it just grows and grows and starts baking, and it's perfect. Yes.
Well, there may be some folks out there that say gluten. I'm allergic to gluten.
That's a big problem these days, yeah.
These days, definitely there are some problems. And I also, in my home, we have to cook gluten-free. My husband is gluten-free, vegan, so that's the style that we have to prepare. So this is a good option, but sometimes it depends on the person, and we can't get into details what works for my husband and what doesn't, because every case is different. So you may think gluten is too high in protein, everything in moderation. I believe that when we limit our protein intake during the week, that you're doing yourself a favor. I'm not a health expert, you are, but
I'm learning every day.
But I do understand that we have nuts, protein in nuts, in legumes, and
Yes.
different sources of protein
Yes.
that we don't realize. And people are like, Idalia, you guys are vegan? What do you eat for protein? Those kids are not going to be healthy. Well, there are
there's plenty of protein in here.
Exactly.
And it definitely, these days, the gluten is something that we're a little scared of. And it's rightly so. Sadly, with all of the modifications to the wheat and
Yes.
things like that, it is affecting people now,
Right.
very much so. Something that never happened before. We've been eating bread for thousands of years.
Yes.
But now it's a problem problem that is recurring so often.
Yes.
And it's something to watch. That's why I do make it at home for special occasions.
Special occasions.
I try to avoid gluten through the week if I'm going to make this for the weekend or things like that.
Right.
But for those that can tolerate it, it's a very good option.
Yes.
And like you said, in moderation is the secret, really.
That's right. That's right.
Or try to get gluten flour that hopefully is organic, or from within
non-chemically.
Yeah, not genetically exactly like that, modified. So that's another thing to try to watch what we eat and try to get as healthy or as original as possible as it is.
Yes, it definitely to the original diet, Garden of Eden diet. This has been really fun to learn this new recipe. I've never seen it prepared like this, and I can't wait till we sit with our coworkers and share this food after the program.
Yeah.
It's always a treat. Well, folks, we do have one last recipe that we're going to share with you. It's a beautiful, refreshing recipe. And so for this recipe, you're going to need the following ingredients. We will need 1/4 liter of cranberry juice, 1/4 liter of pomegranate juice, 1/4 liter of white grape juice, 1 cup fresh raspberries, 2 sliced limes, and mint leaves. So, very simple recipe.
Very simple.
But very colorful.
Yes, and just so tangy but sweet at the same time, and just beautiful. And it just goes perfect with a nice fancy meal as well.
Yes.
So all you do is just mix the ingredients. And you can add some ice at the end if you want as well, to make it nice and cold.
Yes.
But I do like some of these juices, because they have so many antioxidants and just so many benefits to our health. So it's a healthy drink as well. And that makes it nice too,
So that's the cranberry juice?
Yeah, that's the cranberry. This is the pomegranate right here. I'm going to put the pomegranate right here. It's a richer and deeper red, so it makes it a little bit more beautiful. And the thing is that those two, the cranberry and pomegranate, are a little bit tart.
They are.
As you know, they're pretty tart. And so we're using the cranberry thinking of Christmas, possible Christmas drink,
Okay.
But we're going to use the white grape juice to add sweetness.
Okay.
So we don't want to add sugar or any sweeteners, but try to keep it more healthy and try to keep the antioxidants, very, very fresh and alive.
Okay.
And so that's why we're going to use the white grape juice to sweeten it up a little bit more. And that way, it's going to be nice and more tasty that way.
Oh, definitely. I do know there's a great benefit of drinking cranberry for the kidneys, right?
Indeed, yes. As women, we really have to have cranberry juice usually, I would say, all the time in our refrigerator. It just helps so much with urinary problems and tract infections and things like that.
That's right.
And so it's just good to prevent. And it just keeps things, very clear, very healthy. Cranberry juice is wonderful. It's truly, truly beneficial. And plus, it has so much vitamin C and things. It just helps a lot with keeping one healthy.
Yes.
So definitely one drink to have at home.
Very good.
Now, I have some raspberries here. Raspberries are one of my favorites.
Mine too. We're going to have to fight over those. I'm going to pick them right up. No,
it's nice to have a little crunch when we drink. But raspberries are so common where I live in Chile. I love Chile for that reason, because you can get in the summertime, in the peak of the season, which is the opposite from here. Our summer in Chile is in January, February.
Wow.
And right now I escape from the cold. So I'm here in the American summer, and I'm loving having 2 summers in 1 year. But the raspberries, you can get a huge box, like a 4-pound box, freshly picked for like $3. Wow. So it's amazing. I just love that about over there. And I use them a lot. But we don't have cranberries or fruits like that, so that's why I use these for this drink. But it could be also used with other fruits. It could be, like I said, fresh cranberries, or you can even put strawberries like in either sliced or cut in fourths.
That's right.
Any fruit that will stand out in this beautiful punch. So you put the fruit like this, right? Yes. It will make it come up higher a little bit more. Then the limes also add a beautiful touch to the and color. You could even put some oranges as well.
Oh yes, I like that.
Yeah, to make it look even prettier with the variety.
Presentation is everything. I mean, our appetite opens up not only when we smell the food, but when we see it. We see something so beautiful. It's like, I want to try that. And we don't say what the ingredients are, at least to my kids. I just want them to try it. And they'll be like, that's good, Mom. You know what you're eating?
Yeah.
So it's got beets in it. And they'll be like, what? It's got beets? I don't like beets. Well, you liked it now. So
yeah.
Anyway.
But the idea is that by adding these add-ons to a simple combination of juices, you make it something from very simple to something very gourmet.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can see how easy it is to make
That's
something
right.
look very gourmet and very attractive and fancy. So it's not difficult to do something a little special for a special occasion by adding some fresh fruits or slices of citrus fruits.
Yes.
And then, of course, some garnishes like the little mint leaves, which
Mint
actually
leaves.
add some mint leaves, sorry, which actually also add some delicious depth of flavor into the drink. And so that's why the mint does come very nicely. It's kind of like a cocktail, you know, but very healthy as well.
Yeah.
So you just, that's it. You just serve it that way. We could mix it up a little with a spoon, maybe, just a little bit, just to get all the flavors combined. Better combined. Thank you, Dalia.
See.
And that's it. You have a delicious drink that if served as it is perfect, or with some ice as well.
Well, you have a very pretty glass there, and you know, I want to thank you because these are really beautiful options, and it brings the children, for example, my family, away from the sugary drinks that are so readily accessible, you know,
exactly.
and that way you give them something different, something exciting, and earn their interest into preparing the meal as well. So a drink like this would definitely go a long way at home. Well,
and like you said, they're gonna love eating those raspberries.
Oh yes, definitely.
Fishing them out and eating them.
We have a few minutes left before we take a break, and we're gonna show you or share the contact information with you. So be ready. We're gonna share the contact information. But right now I'm gonna take advantage that you are a professor there at the Chilean University.
That's right.
Tell me, what are the activities and how can we better help our neighbor by sharing a recipe, healthier choice? Because, okay, we are struggling. You know, there are people that are wanting to have high cholesterol. They want to abandon the consumption of animal products, the cheese, the milk, the eggs, whatever it is. But these are alternatives, plant-based alternatives, but sometimes we don't know how to reach the neighbor next door. What do you suggest we do?
Well, as we work with the students specifically down there, we have seen that since most of them are completely new to the idea of plant-based. It's not so much like here in the States where everywhere you go, now you have plant-based options over there. It's not so much. Actually, I would say it's very difficult to even go out to eat. And so the ministry and the work that we're doing in the university through the students that don't know anything about this kind of diet, it's been really wonderful. But the main thing, of course, is how it benefits them. Like bringing information to them and saying, these options benefit you so much. And as you taste them and try them.
Taste and see.
Yes, it truly is true. Once they taste and see, they're pretty hooked and they're pretty amazed. And so I think it has to do with befriending them by involving them as well. That's why I enjoy so much teaching cooking classes. I get everybody involved. I get everybody participating. You know, putting their hands on. Like I told you before, you know, when you put your hands into something, it's gonna taste good no matter what. Even if it doesn't, just because you made it.
That's right.
And it works with it works with young kids, and it also works with all the other ones as well. So cooking classes or inviting people to eat to your home, having a special meal for them, letting them taste something different but pretty good, pretty delicious, and with a lot of love. It's so effective.
That's the key, love.
Yes, it's so effective when you want to share them because you care about them, and
that's right.
They perceive that, and so it has worked in such a wonderful way, you know, for them to get an interest in learning to eat a little bit better.
Right, and it's hard to break the traditions too because we're raised, you know, we're raised in a farm, so our family always, you know, cultivated whatever seasonings we needed, but all the animals that we nurtured, and that was our meal, you know. So then In my case, I married a vegetarian and I was not. So I was cooking for him and for me. But, you know, when there's a will, there's a way. And I believe that the Lord will give you the will if you ask him to. So it's a challenge, it's a struggle. You have your highs and your lows, but don't give up, because the result is better health, right?
Definitely better health, yes.
Very good.
And just better health equals also happiness.
Yes.
It's just a peace of mind, and, you know, being able to do so many more things. And health is everything, really.
That's right. Well, thank you. I commend you for all the work that you're doing with the young people. And this program can be shared with your neighbors too, so they can learn these recipes and these natural options. Well, as we promised before, we said we would share the contact information. So I hope you're ready. You have your pen and paper ready. And if you missed the information, please don't hesitate to call us at 3ABN. The number is always on the screen, and we're here to serve you. Also, the recipes will be posted on 3ABN website. That is 3abn.tv, where you can just download it, print your copies, and you can also contact Sanare Life Ministry, and this is the information that you will need to contact Sanare Life. We'll be right back.
If you would like to contact Sanare Life Consultants, you may do so in a variety of ways. You may call them at 817-719-3099. That's 817-719-3099. You may also write to them at Sanare Life Consultants, 1035 MLK Junior Drive, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30314. That's Sanare Life Consultants, 1035 MLK Junior Drive, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30314.
Well, folks, we want to present to you all the recipes we prepared for today. So we're going to have Stephanie walk us through, please.
Okay, sure. We made a homemade coconut oil butter. Healthy, as you saw, all from raw ingredients. And it turned out just very good for the rest of the recipes, which we had there the cheesecake that we made with the crust, right, with the butter and some crackers. We decorated with some edible cherries, so it's not fake, and even though they look very cute and very pretty. And then we went into some vegetables, which are roasted festive vegetables. And
so good.
yeah, with the cranberries and the little goodies there, like those pecans. And then we made the nut and gluten roast, which was interesting, right, to see how it was separated from the water, but then as it bakes, look how it comes out.
Yes.
It comes out pretty neat.
Yes.
With some roasted potatoes around for decoration.
Yes.
And then we have our delicious festive celebration drink.
Yes.
With beautiful colors there, that green, that bright green from the lime, and those reds from the juices, and of course the raspberries that make it nice and tangy, right, with the cranberry juice and so forth. So that's our festive menu.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we trust that you will try these recipes at home. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know how your family has responded to these wonderful options, plant-based recipes. As I mentioned before, you can get them from 3ABN website, 3abn.tv. Stephanie, I just want to thank you for coming.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a blessing to working with you.
Thank you. It's been wonderful to be here again.
Praise the Lord. Well, guys, thank you for joining us, and enjoy your next meal, and remember to have Jesus at the table every time. The Lord loves you, and he has made provision for all of us. God bless.